So I just wanted to make a quick video around the quality control or lack thereof of Tudor watches. So on the Tudor Facebook group and on general forums, I've noticed there's lots of conversations around poor quality control around Tudor and around Rolex, and there's now quite a few YouTube videos and discussions on the forums and various groups around poor quality control for both Tudor and for Rolex. I'm not going to focus on Rolex. I've not owned any Rolex watches, so it'd be wrong for me to comment. So that's not what this video is about. This video is about my ownership experience of 4 Tudors, and it's not great overall. It's been pretty poor. So of the 4 Tudors that I've owned, 3 have had to go back to Tudor for quality control issues, and I will walk through those. The only one in my possession at the moment, because one is actually away as it stands, is the GMT, which I have in front of me. But I guess the first thing I want to say before I actually get into this video is that just because you buy a luxury item, it doesn't mean it's going to be perfect. And if you're expecting perfection, you're probably setting the bar a bit too high. Even if you go and buy an Audemars Piguet and a Lange & Söhne, any kind of watch at that level, Vacheron Constantin, Breguet, IWC, any of these luxury watches across the whole spectrum of price, quality, handcrafts, have hand craftsmanship that goes into producing the actual watches themselves, that there will always be issues, and this comes across into the car world, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, and obviously above and beyond that, Koenigseggs. All these cars will have their issues, and again there are YouTube videos out there, especially around Pagani, with issues. So look, first thing I want to say is luxury doesn't mean flawless build quality, no issues. That's not what luxury means. Not to me anyway. Luxury just means that you buy something that you believe is quite luxurious, and that could be any price point. That could be an entry-level watch, a Longines for about £1,000 or so, or anything up to, like I say, these £100,000 watches that people wear. Luxury for me is something that I buy that when I put on, use, just makes me feel good, and I'm proud to own it, and I enjoy the use of it. So with that out of the way, I have owned 4 Tudors, of which I still own 2. The first one I owned was a blue Pelagos. Love the watch. The clasp on it was fantastic. The blue on it was great. I'm not going to go into the reasons I sold it, although it will become fairly clear. But after not very long of having it, I can't remember exactly how long now, the bezel seized, and it wasn't because I've been using it in the water or in the beach, because the advice from the authorised dealer was to just get some tap water, run it around the bezel, see if that clears it up, because there might be some grit in there. That wasn't the case. So that watch went back to Tudor. It came back with a new bezel and bezel components, whatever they might be, and it seized again. So again, it went back to Tudor, and this is all over the period of about 6 months, I think, maybe a bit longer, 6 months to maybe a year tops, absolute max. So it went back to Tudor initially, then came back, bezel seized again, went back again, brand new bezel again, and then the lume pip fell out. So on the Pelagos, as people are aware, you've got little lines on the bezel which are fully loomed, and one of those fell out. At that point, I was given a brand new watch, and I sold it. First of all, I'd lost confidence in that particular watch, and also I had worked out by that point it just wasn't for me anyway. If it was a watch I truly loved, I would have kept it, even with those issues. But I had lost confidence, and I'd worked out that with the fairly small collection I've got, it just wasn't a watch for me. So what did I buy then? I bought the Black Bay GMT, this watch. I've owned this for a while now. Again, I should have had this written down, maybe 18 months. And this is obviously the poster boy of the problems for Tudor and the issues that they have. The date wheel, I did indeed have the date wheel issue. I sent it away to Tudor. It's come back. It's been back since June-ish, and it's had no problems. And I wear it quite a lot, and I keep it wound at the moment just to make sure it's got no problems. So since it's been away and been repaired, I haven't had any issues with it. I'm not going to go into whether it has been repaired, what the movement issues are, what the repair is, because no one actually knows. Authorised dealers claim that there was over lubricated date wheels, but I don't believe that's the case personally. It just seems a bit too simple to me. And you wouldn't put brand new movements in watches and say you're putting brand new movements in watches if it's just an over lubricated date wheel. So whatever the fix is, Tudor never announced it, which is a problem in itself, but it seems to be absolutely fine now. Time will tell in terms of whether the new movement has actually sorted the watches or not. I then bought a 58 original model, so the black one, and had no problems with that watch. That was absolutely spot on. And then the blue one became available, so I bought that one. And I'll show you the dial imperfection. I'll just put an image in. But it looks like almost like the R on the Tudor logo that's been put onto the dial was, I don't know, maybe the ink was too thick and it's run. And originally, I did actually damage that bezel when I dropped the watch, but that's nothing to do with the imperfection of the Tudor logo. And that's actually been recognised by Tudor since they've had it back in the service centre, and they're going to be replacing a dial on that watch. But if you're keeping count, that's 4 Tudors and 3 quality control issues. I kind of wonder if I'm mad to keep buying them, if I'm honest. I don't know if I've just been unlucky or not. But these watches come with warranties. The way I see it, just like cars, if they have problems, they go back, they get fixed, you get them back, and hopefully you don't experience any problems from there on. So, as I say, I haven't had any more problems with this, and I just love the aesthetic. When I get the Tudor Black Bay 58 Blue back, I absolutely love the aesthetic of that as well. So the reason I keep buying these watches is that I don't think there's anything out there in the market for the price point of a Tudor, especially the kind of professional range in terms of the dive watches, so the Black Bay range, that offers this kind of value for money. So if you look to sell this, they're now very available in retailers. You might get 2,700 for it, 2,800 if you're extraordinarily lucky, but really 2,600, 2,700. You try and find a watch with this specification that, to my eye, looks this good for that money. It's just not there. There's nothing there. If you're looking at the Omegas, you're looking at 4 on rubber, 4.5 on a bracelet, and even if you get that discounted, you're still looking at 3.5. So it's still more than these are available for, even if you do sell them used. And I do think these are going to continue to go up in value, certainly from a retail point of view, because they're going to keep putting up the retail price of them every year, sometimes twice a year, as they try and make Tudor a more aspirational brand, and Rolex disappears into the stratosphere. But again, that's not for this video. So I guess the point of this video is that if you really like a watch, don't really be put off by the quality control. Do your research and be aware that there are issues out there, and make the purchase with your eyes open. Okay, so a number of the Black Bay 58s have bezel alignments, so the bezel doesn't quite sit with the 12 o'clock marker, and they've had to get sent back to have the bezels realigned. The Pelagoses are now very known for having the lume pips falling out of the, or not lume pips, the lume markers falling out of the bezel. And these watches are known for having the date wheel issue. So there are watches out there that obviously don't have these issues. North Flag doesn't seem to have any issues that people are reporting. And their other lines don't seem to have any issues either. But just be aware, luxury doesn't mean perfection. If you like a watch, do your research as always. And if it's something that really floats your boat, go for it and buy it. But just be aware that there are warranties for these things. And you might have to send it back for a repair, and that could take anything up to, normally, without what's going on at the moment, 6 weeks. Sometimes actually quicker, depending on where you live in the world, obviously. But with what's going on, they've now had my 58 for a couple of months, and I probably won't get that back for at least another month. But yeah, I think it's still a great watch. It's still a great brand. And ultimately, like I said, there's nothing out there that offers the value for money proposition that Tudor does. So buy with your eyes open, know that you've got a warranty, and just enjoy the watches for what they are.